Greetings from Indian Journal of Anesthesia. I will be discussing an original article from June issue of Indian Journal of Anesthesia, that is olanzapine versus standard antiemetic prophylaxis for the prevention of post-discharge nausea and vomiting after propofol-based general anesthesia, a randomized controlled trial. Post-discharge nausea vomiting remains a significant concern as it endangers patient dissatisfaction, sleep disturbances, and hindrance to the resumption of daily activities. Unplanned hospital readmissions due to PDNV escalate healthcare costs, which is a significant concern in resource-limited healthcare settings. Current anti-emetic prophylactic guidelines encompass using ondansetron, a serotonergic antagonist, with a short half-life of approximately 3 hours. While this is effective during typical post-anesthesia care unit stay, it inadequately addresses PDNP. Olanzapine is an atypical antipsychotic. It antagonizes multiple receptors involved in the pathophysiology of PONV, including dopamine, serotonin, acetylcholine, and histamine. This study evaluated the benefits and side effect profile of a single preoperative oral olanzapine in preventing PDNV. The hypothesis rested on olanzapine's extended half-life and capacity to antagonize multiple receptors implicated in PONV. The study was approved by Institutional Ethics Committee and it was registered under CTRI. It was a single-center, double-blinded, parallel group randomized controlled trial where participants of 18 to 65 years with AC status 1 and 2 undergoing highly hematogenic daycare surgeries using propofol-based general anesthesia were included. Whereas surgeries lasted more than 2 hours from the incision time, patients requiring hospitalization, pregnant or lactating patients, patients having torsade de pointes arrhythmias or QTC interval of more than 450 milliseconds, myocardial infarction, unstable angina, arrhythmias, congestive heart failure, or contraindication to olanzapine use such as Parkinson's disease, Lewy body dementia, or other neurological disorders were excluded. The study comprised of two groups. Group O, the patients in Group O received a single per oral dose of 10 mg olanzapine 1 hour before surgery with sips of water in the preoperative area, whereas in Group C, IV dexamethasone 8 mg immediately after induction and IV ondansetron 4 mg approximately 30 minutes before the emergence was administered. The primary outcome of the study was to determine the incidence of nausea, evidenced by numeric rating scale, that is NRS of more than 3, and vomiting within 24 hours post-discharge following daycare surgery, whereas the secondary outcomes included evaluating the incidence of severe post-discharge nausea, evidenced by NRS of more than 5 within 24 hours post-discharge, nausea or vomiting immediately after surgery in PACU, the need for rescue antiemetics in PACU, and side effects such as sedation, dizziness, lightheadedness in the post-discharge setting. The incidence of post-discharge nausea vomiting in patients with highly hematogenic daycare procedures had been fixed at 60% for the study. Since the patients were with more than 4 risk factors were included, this was in accordance to the APFEL's criteria for PONV. The authors aimed to decrease the incidence by 30% in the treatment group. The sample size was calculated as 49 per groups with 80% power of the study to detect a difference at a two-sided alpha level 0.05. After accounting for an attrition rate of 10%, the total sample size was 110. Statistical package for social sciences statistics software, that is SPSS version 21, was used for statistical analysis. The demographic variables were comparable in both the groups, as well as the surgical details were comparable in both the groups of the study. The table represents the distribution of perioperative characteristics between the groups. Here we can see that intraoperative characteristics such as duration of surgery, total propofol and fentanyl use was comparable in both the groups. Regarding post-discharge characteristics, the nausea vomiting post-discharge was comparable in both the groups, which formed study's primary outcome. Apart from this, the severity of nausea vomiting post-discharge as well as the side effects Both of these were comparable in both the groups, and the corresponding p-values were insignificant. These formed the secondary outcomes of the study. Therefore, in this study, the incidence and severity of post-discharge nausea vomiting were comparable in both the groups. The occurrence of PDNV was lower than expected based on the study by Appel et al., which had a predicted PDNV risk of 60% in patients with 4 risk factors. This disparity in the outcome can be multifactorial due to population or racial variations, due to method of anesthesia delivery, or due to a largely heterogeneous population recruited for the study, considering the kind of surgeries performed. The authors inferred that inter-race genetic susceptibilities could be the reason for lower incidence of primary outcomes in the Indian population. Additionally, the absence of exposure to inhalational anesthetics could partially explain the reduced primary outcome in the study's setting. The study has had an innovative strength, that is, the double-blind dummy blinding technique to minimize potential biases, that is, administration of both placebo and active doses in alternating patterns, whereas as a limitation, the study was conducted at a single center, potentially limiting the generalizability of the findings to a broader patient populations. In addition, the heterogeneity of the surgical procedures in the study might have influenced the overall PDNV incidence. Therefore, in conclusion, the oral drug olanzapine is a promising alternative to standard prophylaxis of PDNV in highly hematogenic daycare surgeries with propofol-based anesthesia as a single-dose preoperative intervention, providing an option in a setting where immediate postoperative treatment is challenging. Thank you.